Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, aunties and unks and everybody else? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs review where me and my homegirl Erin gonna let y'all know about the What's Going Down episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19, episode 14. We're moving along. Everybody, please help me welcome Erin to the stage. Yes.
Hello, aunties and unks. Happy I'm going to call it Sleazy Saturday in honor of the kinds of things that Slade has been saying. This is the day after Felonious Friday.
Okay, what's not a Friday? Ooh. If you've been living under a rock,
truly,
child, we got a new housewife that's on the lam almost. She ain't on land. She ain't running, but girl,
she's out on bond. We got a new housewife out on bond. That's what we got.
Girl,
50,000.
Godly, her and her husband. Oh,
100K.
Hashtag fraudulent.
Ooh.
Shout out to the Ocephos down to the RHOP. Oh,
Real Housewives of Prison is what somebody said in the chat. Oh my God.
What'd you say?
The Real Housewives of Prison.
Oh.
Instead of RHOP.
Now, of course, you know, we can have a lot to say about that, but we're going to talk about Orange County.
We are.
But just because we're going to take our digs. I just want to first of all, it was shocking AF because they've been like the poster child of all things good, you know, beautiful family.
Yep.
You know, hardly
educated.
Just, you know, just always trying to, you know, help people. Just never would have imagined that.
No, educated, PhD, thought leadership, a correspondent on CNN, visiting Kamala in the White House, you know, talking about degrees and all of this. The honor of your family is so important, especially in Nigerian culture. Ooh, you made Eddie's parents right about you.
Well, I'll say this. They are innocent. And I'm going to say this. It don't look good because I'm like, oh, because I said this. Unless they have the miracle of evidence that proves them right.
Right.
They in trouble.
Well, I mean, I'd love for them to exonerate themselves. I would, because this is one of the hottest mess, great Muppet caper bullshit reasons to go to jail. Otherwise, I mean, good
Lord. It don't look good because if they got, how you claiming somebody stole something and they say you still got it? That's what get me.
Yes.
And they matching again, unless they got the receipt of all receipt that proves them innocent, fine. But girl.
Well, and they have the stores providing the return receipts. So you can have a receipt, but a return receipt trumps a receipt.
And don't be on camera doing it.
I mean, well, being on your Instagram wearing jewelry that you have identified as stolen, she needed to talk to Dorit before she did this. She
Ooh.
needed to say, who did you hire? You know, I'm just kidding. I'm making jokes. Sorry, Dorit. It's just far too easy with this situation. I agree with you. You know, yes, under the law, they are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But like you said, ooh, it don't look good. It does not look good. And
It don't.
and if you did this, which it don't look good, the stupidity of all your actions. How did you didn't even cover your track? I mean, the sloppiness of this. Like, if you're gonna take a shot they go through every dirty drawer you've ever had. They go to the house you grew up in, even though other people live there, and they go through the drawers trying to find, they'll break open the walls trying to find dirt on you. You could have gotten a jaywalking ticket when you were 13, and they're gonna be like, felon. You know, like the way that the bloggers that term has just become what it's become, the way that people look through these housewives' business, I just do not understand when they do this kind of stuff. I just don't.
I'm waiting on the evidence that the Ocephos are going to bring to defend themselves. I just can't wait to see it. That's what I'm really waiting on, because that will be the end all be all. Because again, once they beat this, if they beat this, that will be the caper of all capers. Because girl, just everybody is just on the fence of y'all did it because of what's been presented. It's a strong case.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you had 3 different insurance companies paying, and they all asked you, are there claims anywhere else? And you said no, and you are probably on a recording doing so because they record those conversations.
Yes, you are on a recording line for quality assurance. Please hold.
Oh, ma'am, they need to dub your voice into that for everybody. That was so pleasant.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, shout out to the Ocephos. Wow. Thanks for making my Friday shocking. Like, wow.
Holy Ghost fire!
Yeah, truly shocking.
Girl.
Now,
Well,
what ain't shocking are these bitches. I'm just kidding.
Well, we are unequivocally. What's the unequivocal? What unequivocally? Unequivocally innocent over here because we don't do nothing.
Nope,
we ain't in
mind our business.
Doing nothing. We just take care of our families. We come on YouTube every now and again, give y'all a little something, and that's it. We don't do nothing.
We're working hard on our side stuff. We enjoy watching these shows, doing reviews together, giving you a good time. Everybody, thank you for your participation. We've seen more comments in the chat, more folks. Please subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Let's get RAERAE all day. Monetize. She works so hard. But we mind our business. I don't have time to perpetuate fraud of this level. I don't.
Girl, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I'm so straight laced. I don't even know what that is really, but you know. But I tell you what, these, like you said, these heifers on the Orange County show know how to give us a good time, child. Ooh. It was a cute little episode. You know, it was a little fluffy, but it wasn't too heavy as it has been, in my opinion, you know. So
you know what I reflected on? Yeah, let's get on into it.
Okay. Well, let's see, y'all. First off, Gretchen, she meets up with Emily, y'all. And we're talking about the Innocence Project, the organization Emily works with to help those who have been wrongfully accused and sit them in prison and or jail for an obscene amount of time. And we're going to see more of that towards the end. They're going to do a fundraiser. And I really love to see that. You know, this episode kind of touched my heartstring a little bit hearing about it, because It's just so wrong. It's
Yeah.
it's just, girl, it's just so wrong, and there's so many different people that are railroaded into giving into their freedom being taken away, and unlike what we've been talking about the last 5-6 minutes. It's just these people absolutely did nothing wrong. They was over there while something was going on over here. And we really we need to restore our faith in our judicial and municipal. Dang showed the executive branch of these governments. And we really have to get our ish together as a society and get those who do things and who don't, leave them alone. It's just it angers me, but it's just so sad that these things happen to these people, you know?
Yeah, this is one of the few things, no offense to Emily. This is one of the things that I really, really this is a great cause. I appreciate that Emily brings this every year as part of her storyline. I don't really know how deeply involved she is in this, but I don't care. I'm glad that she brings it on,
Yeah.
attention to it every year. This is a heartbreaking cause that I truly believe in as well. Like, there has got to be nothing more. It's so devastating for these poor people to get lost in the system for 14 years. And like, there needs to be more advocacy to help folks. It's truly, truly sad how easily people, especially like in a melee situation and gang activity, or, just even like a large outbreak in a fight, or, at a party, or it's just crazy how wrong place, wrong time can completely destroy your life. And it just scares the crap out of me that you can prove someone innocent if you take the time, resources, and effort to do so. Because if you could do that, you should have never prosecuted them in the first place. And it just shows the broken parts of our system. So shout out to Emily for this. You do a lot of stupid crap, like bringing in a lie detector, but this is one of these moments that you should be proud of. It's beautiful work. Keep on illuminating it.
Then they get into the gossip, y'all, because that's what we're here for.
Right. Let's help everybody, but let's get into the shits.
So then Emily, of course, brings Gretchen the gossip about the spring bling that she missed while she was taking family photos in the cornfields, I guess, of Orange County. And then Emily brings up that she's so pissed off because of Katie is brought back into the fold. We see Katie this episode, y'all, because Tamra wanted to go speak with her so Tamra can validate, justify, and all those things against Gretchen. She wanted to hear what Katie has to say, and Emily couldn't believe it because of how Katie has been towards Emily's family and everybody else that Emily has wronged and lied about, because she admitted, we all know what Katie said. We done been through the whole Katie thing for the first 9 episodes, I think 10 episodes. And then then Emily and Gretchen kind of go back and forth because Gretchen wants to not take all of the heat when Gretchen kind of started it. Gretchen kindly forgot that she brought up the Tamra banging the whoever it was in the studio, which is apparently not true, I guess. And she doesn't want to start there. She wants to start in the middle.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Emily and Heather were egging her on to call Slade. Listen to the video. So yeah, Gretchen started at the beginning, not the middle, girl.
I could not believe she was even trying to bring this argument to Emily. For once, I understood why Emily's head popped off her shoulders. Like, literally looking at her like, girl, we only wanted to hear, you brought up that Tamra tried to sing. And that piqued up our interest because we wanted to hear a terrible song, and that terrible song has now made its way around I believe you sent it to me first. It's made its way around social media. It was truly horrible. It's really funny, and I could see why Heather and Emily would want to hear it.
Right.
But you're also the one that said that she banged the dude. Like, you immediately, like, my head explodes. How can you even look at them like you made me call Slade? Because you said you had a recording. You said Slade had it. Like, all of this is you. And for you to act like they helped create this situation is insanity. You brought up every point, and then your sleazeball partner put the slime over the sundae, the ship sundae.
Not the slime on a Sunday.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was grimy. And that's why I really think that Tamra owes Heather an apology, because Heather, to me, had the perfect reaction. I don't want that. I don't want that. I just want to hear her sing bad. I don't want to hear about this. This is gross. I don't want this. I just want to hear her sing bad, like, that's all I can, I thought that was funny. Now what you're doing is yucky. And I realized maybe, well, whatever. I'm like, I realized there's like the level of sleaze that Gretchen and Slade have brought to the storyline this season is kind of become unfortunate. Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like I said before, y'all, if they would have came in like Kenya should have and just played victim and just stood their ground against the BS and not create an issue and just were on the receiving end, but they came for a payback, obviously. They came for some get back, and it's backfiring because they don't know how to handle it because they got too much vengeance in their heart. And they're Christians, and they should think about what would Jesus do. Now, Gretchen, you my girl, but I'm going to have to read you.
Listen.
I'm going to have to read you when you're wrong. I'm with you when you're right, but I'm going to have to read you when you're wrong, girl. And you wrong in this instance. You started it. Did nobody know that until you brought it out? That was a direct response to a question, not about Tamra banging somebody. Your direct response was to a question about a song was, oh, that's when she was banging so-and-so. How was that your response?
You need to take responsibility for your drunken. Maybe she was, like I said, I always try to flip it. She was very drunk. And I do think another kind of Gretchen comes out. I mean, that's where Naked Wasted came from, because everybody would say that Gretchen was a lot of fun when she was out partying, right? They do. And then we see a much more buttoned up lady in a costume on the show. And that's fine. That's part of Gretchen's like dorky charm, I think, is the way that she really likes to present a certain image of herself and wants to maintain that. I see beyond it. I always have. And I've found Gretchen entertaining because a lot of women down in Orange County are delusional like her, So I think that she's an archetype that has worked. But so anyway, I wonder if Gretchen was so drunk that she doesn't remember the specifics of how it, like that she said she banged so-and-so. Like, I don't know if it's like some vague memory that she's trying to push with, because it's crazy how if she did remember exactly how it played out, there's no way she could come at Emily like this. There's just no way. So she had to have been drunk enough to not remember, because otherwise you just like, you're nuts. You're trying to crawl out of something that never would have even been, a hole wouldn't have been created if it weren't for you.
Right.
The deflection. And then, let's be real as well. Again, I think she might have had a few too many when she was peddling around what she said to Katie, right? And then, later on, I remember after she saw the episodes where she's caught on camera, she's like, I misspoke. So I don't know. Anyway, Gretchen, you're not playing this very well.
At all.
Well, and I think Slade thinks he's such a puppet master, and he's not. It's like you really think you are doing work. You brag about how you used to be practically a producer on this show and all that stuff. Well, what you been doing lately, sir? If you're so skilled at all of this, what you been doing? This is Gretchen's first time back in how long? What you been doing this time, sir? Because I am not impressed with the way you're trying to manipulate Gretchen's storyline. You're looking dumb as hell.
In a world of remote work since roughly, it's kind of been mandatory since 2020, since the panoramic came through and kind of changed the infrastructure of all things job. I would imagine by now a good, I would say 4.5 years of consistent income coming in should be happening. I'm just curious, what is preventing all of this from, what's preventing all this lost revenue? There has to be something else that they're not discussing. I don't get it. I mean, that $500,000 lawsuit could not have sustained them on this amount of time. I'm just saying, to each his own. But
maybe
I'm curious, I'm just curious.
Maybe he's selling feet pics.
Girl.
No, I just Slade has reminded me exactly who he is, and if we were to go back and watch the old episodes with him on, we would be reminded of exactly who he is. This is the dude that dated at least 3 of these ladies. Everybody keeps saying 4, and I can't remember a 4th. I can only remember Joe, De La Rosa, Lori, and then Gretchen. I don't remember a 4th, but I've heard it multiple times. But anyway, he's I don't know. Anybody know? Let me know. He's a bottom feeder, and he's said horrible, nasty things about these ladies. His stand-up is like unforgivable. So I don't know. He's just like showing me like I told you, I challenge myself to like always not turn someone into a one-dimensional thing. I do think that they are clearly a team. They are a united front. They have stood the test of time. They have their daughter. Tamra did say horrible things about him as a father. And even if they're true, if I were him, I would hate her with a deep passion. I would. If you called me a worse than a deadbeat and one of my children had passed, like, I could see him hating her to the degree which he does. I can understand it because she's very casually talking about what a horrible person he is and, dehumanizing the situation. Do I think that there's some truth to what Tamra is saying? Yeah, but I'm just saying I can understand why he hates her like Ryan does, because Tamra has no problem treating them like a piece of crap. But he's just not as good at playing this little battle as he thinks he is.
Speaking of Ryan, I can honestly say he's turned it around to the point where, he's not laser focused on trying to demean Tamra. And even though she has done not equal only because of time, but a similar thing with Ryan as she has done with Slade, attacking him personally, professionally, because the things that she has said about both has affected their livelihoods, or it could have been with Ryan. However, perhaps Slade needs to take a page out of Ryan's book and learn some things and just not be so laser focused in whatever Ryan is doing, because it's not so focused. He's not focused on Tamra, where he shouldn't have never been. But I understand him wanting to defend himself against her. But it still never looks good when a man who has a woman in his life, a significant other, is, I would say, attacking a castmate of on the show. It just doesn't look good going back and forth with her. Just say what you got to say, tell her, but it doesn't look good. And the fact that Slade has this, reputation of a lot of things bad, he should focus on himself at this time. In my opinion, if you listen to watching and listening, Gretchen is my girl, Slade. So I would hope that you are securing your family's future more so than trying to make Tamra look like you want her to look in the eyes of us. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it goes back to what you have said. Yes, sometimes we are a record on repeat, but the truth is what the truth is. Slade has enough things that Tamra has said. If he stuck to she has said horrible things about me as a father. That's unforgivable. I don't care about anyone else. Like, I hate, how dare you speak about my son that passed? Like, how dare you? And not done this other crap. Most people maybe wouldn't remember Slade Sleazy, and they would Slade Slimy, and they would be on his side because she really was running at the mouth about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that they were talking about Sydney and things too. So I do think he definitely misstepped there, and I just lost my train of thought. So I'll leave it there. I just think that he, like you said, they didn't need to go into this stuff because they had enough of a leg to stand on based on some of the things that and even Gretchen coming in on Naked Wasted. But anyway, I digress. If the thought comes back to me, I will say.
Well, after that scene, before the scene ended, Emily had to walk out because she just couldn't take the fact that Gretchen, excuse me, was just flipping and not taking ownership of how she started all of this, and trying to place any of the blame on everybody else who was egging her on. But girl, come on now. Yeah, Emily had to walk out because she couldn't take it. Yeah, well, it is what it is, child. And
I couldn't,
then
like I said, for once, I couldn't blame her for being just totally pissed. But yeah, they also smoothed it back out in a dumb way. So anyway.
Yeah, they did. They showed it later on in the episode. And then I had to go back in and just finish the girl, whatever.
Production said get back in there and close it up.
They made up.
Yeah.
So then Tamra, Gina, and Heather, they're meeting up and they start talking about Tamra and pretty much Tamra's insecurities, it's and also Gretchen using Slade for convenience so that they can do more dirty work. It was an interesting conversation, Tamra needs to do more work on herself. They made it apparently clear, and Tamra's still just wanting to be Tamra. It's like she doesn't want to let things go to a certain extent. I don't know, is she afraid to? Is she scared to? Again, I don't have a degree in mental health, but to me, it just seems like Tamra doesn't want to let it go. What do you think?
I'm struggling really hard with Tamra this season, looking at all the ladies and saying, I'm going through a really hard time right now, and you're not supporting me. You refused to do that when Shannon was begging that of you. And you claim to have been a good friend to her. And yet, in her deepest moment of need, you literally, while she was carrying the season on her back with Alexis, you sat there and spit on her. And the fact that you can't look at Shannon or any of the audience and have any kind of accountability about that is why we all literally have zero sympathy for you as you try to work on yourself. There needs to be a reflection of, you're right, I let my friend down. She was going through a tough time and I didn't support her. and I failed that way. I'm sorry, you know. That doesn't mean that I don't deserve to be supported too, but I have a deeper understanding of where I let you down. That would be so great. I don't need a lot. And so I struggle with the way that she does any of this, because it's like, you still don't understand the important part. The important part is that when you feel like you're justified, you destroy people, and then you want to turn around and be supported by those people that you so easily destroyed. That's why no one trusts you, because Shannon should have been able to trust that when she was facing her biggest crisis in her life yet, that you would not enable, not approve of her, but that you wouldn't be cruel to her.
Right.
And you were.
Right.
So it's just really hard to stomach this whole I'm going through a lot, or I need therapy, or any of that. You're very kind to give her that. It's like, yeah, we all have a story. Everyone does. Everyone has a reason why they're messed up the way that they are. We all don't have excuses, is what we don't have.
And who goes around being cruel to their friends, period?
I would be so disappointed in myself if I had a friend going through a crisis, and when we looked back, all I did was shit on them instead of support them.
That friend will be official history.
And that's another thing. Everybody's like, a few people have speculated that Shannon's going to get demoted to a friend and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I think everybody needs to give Shannon a break. She carried last season. Who other than a housewife would have to do a show with their ex-boyfriend's new fiance? Like, and one that's like all over social media with how in love she is with him, right? Like, there's not very many people that would have to endure that kind of torture. So if Shannon needs to take a break this season and kind of not be on the front burner, then I'm going to give her that grace, by the way.
And luckily she didn't do a second DUI with all that going on, because breaking up with somebody, having that somebody put it in my face every time, and for the whole World Wide Web internet to gawk at and judge on, and I have to go through my emotions and try and keep it together, and I'm getting sued and all these different things.
Yeah.
Don't tell them what else we don't know, girl.
Yep. Yep. Because in the settlement, she said you can never release a video, no ring cam, no nothing, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and then to have to live with with the things that unfolded, right? Like, she found out that he had ring cam of her and all of these things, right? So it's like, not even knowing how further you are going to be humiliated.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's a real airtight Beyonce NDA, because
yeah,
you can't even fart my name or I'm collecting.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. I don't want to hear it. Give it to me.
Well, they got married, so I hope they're happy now. Go sail off into the sunset. Giant Jesus Jugs and Johnny J.
Ooh, they are. Ooh, the cheese of it all. Ooh.
Truly.
Well, the next scene, speaking of Shannon and her dog Archie. I love a big fluffy dog. Just, ain't bothering nobody, Just
He's
real
very cute
big and fluffy. Just real nice looking. I like
Just
big dogs like that.
one thing, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
do remember what I
yeah.
wanted to say now, and I'm just going to jump for a second, and then we'll get back to Archie,
Yeah.
who really is a star of the show. Poor guy.
Mhm.
I respect Ryan. He's playing this much better than Slade, right? That's why I said Slade needed to, just be the victim. Like, I get the sense Ryan took a look at the landscape and adjusted. I may regret being on his side in any way. It might come out that he's even more of a sleaze than we ever imagined. But I respect Ryan's pivot. Like, he's settling in pretty nicely to doing this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan, I do think you were a playboy. I think you had some real fishy friends. I think you were an Orange County douchebag there for a bit, but I also feel like I respect that you've taken Jen and her kids in, you've taken over financial responsibility, and that you're invested in this. And you do seem like a partner that's like Jen can come to you and talk to you about what she's going through, and that you're like present and involved in her life. So there we go.
Girl. That is hilarious. Just the whole thing of how one slime is trying to learn from another.
He's slime 2.0. He's like, you know what? I need to be a better dude than they do really like each other, but I just think that he's a better quality slime.
I'm just saying, it's like,
Yep. Slimes of a feather.
Slide down together. Woo!
Okay. We're having fun today, everybody.
Sorry, Ryan and Slade, but we had to say it. It was just funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, if the slime fits. If the slime
okay, now this
oozes.
should be your segment, girl, because Shannon Archie visits Jen and her dog for a dog psychic reading. And go.
You know what? Okay. I am a practicing psychic. I understand all of the stereotypes. I truly do. You can't tell me that Alison Dubois on Beverly Hills is not one of the most amazing pieces of housewife folklore that ever existed, especially now that here we are. Okay. He will never emotionally satisfy you. Oh my God. And for them to get divorced later. Oh my Lord. Shout out to Alison Dubois. You are a legend. As far as psychics on TV, I hate how they love to do this kind of bit. They love to get a shaman in. They love to get a psychic. Right? Remember when Ryan and Jen had that lady that did that weird shouting at that frequency? They love to take the piss. Now, I know there's a lot of flakes in the metaphysical world, so I understand why they do it. I just do a heavy eye roll whenever they get a quack on there, and we just all look like idiots because, there's this is definitely a field that is full of bull. And I don't know, I thought she was okay. Nothing earth-shattering. I mean, I feel like you could have easily picked up most of what she said, even if you were just an intuitive person. Although she had a few moments, right? With the trash bags with the bags and stuff. And anyway, cute little scene because I love Archie. Archie is a fun little fur character. And Jesus, Jen's got a little sack of potatoes.
Girl, and I don't appreciate the fat shaming of the dog. I mean, how the dog get like that?
Yeah, like
shoot, I always want to blame girl. Don't be fat shaming just because you looking like you looking.
Right? Are you giving your food to the dog? Oh.
Let's not forget about the old picture and how awkward it made you feel.
I know, right? Seriously.
That's talking funny. About the weight of the dog. How ironic. Anyway.
That other one was very cute. The one that held hands and stuff. I think it was a golden retriever.
Oh,
the one that was more of a redhead. She was very cute. Shout out to her. I don't remember her name. Very cute though.
Do you see the way the dog looked to the at the corner of the dog? Like, girl, wait a minute. Like, wait. What?
Dogs are funny. I have a dog. Shout out to my dog, Tinkerbell Tinky.
Tinkerbell Loke.
Yeah, she's under my bed right now. They are And pets are a wonderful thing. Dogs are just so full of expression. They just crack me up.
Yeah, made me think about my dog when I was little. Dog. That was the dog's name,
That's a
not
cool
Dog.
name.
You have to say it.
Yeah.
Dog. The emphasis on the
Yeah.
D. Dog.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. It was a Dober. What? Here I go forgetting. Doberman, where they kind of look like Snoop.
Yeah, that's a Doberman.
Okay, Doberman. We had a Doberman pinscher. It was black and brown. She was black and brown, and I'll never forget when she had puppies. And I was, now mind you, I can remember far back as I was 18 months old as far as my memories go back of my life. I can tell you things that happened when I was 18 months old. Thank you. Now, this point in time, I was real little. I had to be pre-K, 3, maybe 4 years old. And the dog had puppies. And I was 4 going, anyway, 3, 4. So the dog had puppies in the garage, and never forget, it was a box, big old box with a pink blanket. And when I finally got to see the dog puppies, I went to reach in, and either my dad or my mom yanked my arm back, because that's a sign of aggression when you're going in like that. So you have to do it in a way. That's why I started to learn about how to deal with dogs, especially when they have newborns. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And because also my cousin at the time, who was a couple of years younger than me. So if I was about 3, 4, she had to be 18 months to 2 years. She got bit in the face doing the same thing. So, and she had a scar. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it was horrible. The whole family was talking about it because she didn't live in our state. So I never forget all the conversations I heard. Anyway, so, it was all, so it was a little tense around the house because of that and the dog. However, what I'm trying to say is, once after the birth, probably months later, we had a gate that was as a wooden gate we had a brick fence around the house, well, around the backyard, and the gate was wooden. And I never forget that Diogi opened the gate with her nose, and then she and her puppies left. And I was at the back door watching people, whoever was there doing whatever, they ain't really, I'm pretty sure I was safe. They just wasn't engaging with me at the time. I don't know what they were doing. I don't remember, but I started crying, and they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I kept saying, Dog. And then they noticed that my dad noticed that the gate was open. So he ran out, went and closed it. And then when I kept saying Dog, so he went to the garage, found that they weren't in there, and then immediately knew that they left out of the gate because the gate was open, and never found them.
Wow, what a sad story.
Yeah, my heart still kind of tugs when I talk about it, think about it, because
Jesus.
never saw him again.
Okay, everybody. Now that we're crying in our crying. Damn, you are such a Cancer. Woo. Telling an emotion. I was like, when you said that, I'm like, they better come back. And nope. Okay. Well, thank goodness Archie wasn't hurt in the accident and everybody's all right. Shout out to Dog. I hope she's all right somewhere. Or, obviously not now, but, had a good life. Good Lord.
Girl. Yeah, I will tell that story the same every time, because that's how it happened. Sure enough, I was in the back door crying like,
yeah, that's sad. This is a horrible story.
I didn't think it was that horrible. I just thought it was.
No, I'm teasing
I didn't mean
you.
to bring y'all down.
It's sad.
My bad, but I'm good.
She's all right. Everybody's all right.
Oh, my notes say, girl, what's next?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, girl. Katie met up with Tamra, child.
Mhm.
You know, Katie's hurt,
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Yeah.
But you know, you did this too. Don't act like you didn't have no part,
Yeah.
Katie. Now, Katie Von Tease. Just
I honestly, I believe that her intention. I don't know the specifics. I don't know how much Gretchen Slade pushed, but somewhere along the way, the goal was to get this story out as a rumor or whatever. Like, I just don't believe that she didn't tell somebody. Like, and now she's saying the one thing, the hill she's willing to die on is that she didn't tell Kiki, but her credibility, I think that this was intentionally leaked, this rumor, and then they realized it was a bad idea because of, you know, the legal element and how bad things went with Portia and Phaedra and all of that. So that's the one part you have yet to convince me of otherwise. I'm just saying, Katie. I'm just saying. Like, I just think that, I do think Gretchen and Slade said it. But I don't think that it just magically, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I've heard so many versions. You know what I mean?
Well, I can say this. Katie said everything that we've been saying, that other, commentators, bloggers, journalists, whatever, have been saying about, okay, so apparently it's both sides, meaning Katie, I'll just say Matt, because Matt's in this too. Katie
Yes.
and Matt, Gretchen and Slade. Now, Jen is, again, like I said, she gonna be brought in because she was privy to at least two conversations, but in reference to this particular issue, Jen is gonna have to explain herself. Maybe Ryan too.
Truly.
I'm not sure if Ryan was there, but definitely Jen is gonna have to explain herself as to why you don't remember, but you can, give verbatim about this, that, and the third on something else.
Yeah.
So, but as far as these two couples, Gretchen Slade, Katie and Matt, they're both sides are have lied, admitted lying or misspeaking, and both are presenting a strong case. So at this point, we're gonna have to go with who we think is right. I'm gonna ride with Gretchen and Slade for right now because I know their story. We were there when it went down. Again, I am gonna ride with Gretchen Slade because Katie and, well, I'll just say more so Katie than Matt. She's just on this tour of from jump. She's been lying last year, lying this year. It's like, girl, why can't what you say just not be proven to be incorrect? And then you want to lie on credible content creators and YouTubers and journalists when they technically they ain't even in this, but you're lying on them because how would they know unless somebody told them certain information? So yeah, it's sad, but I'm a side with Gretchen and Slade on this one.
Shout out to the chat, by the way. I need to be paying attention. I get like distracted sometimes when I've done stuff in the past, but I need to be monitoring. So shout out to everybody listening. Thank you. We appreciate you. Well, I really look forward to, hold on. I need to recollect my thoughts. I fell down the stairs of my own mind. You are 100% right about the Jen factor because the person that I think is doing the lying that isn't being called out for anything is her. I think somewhere along the way she chose Gretchen. I think Gretchen and Slade and Ryan and Jen all really like each other. And I think that she decided, since Katie was going down, to just sacrifice. And it's like she is one of the women that grabbed an orphan kid and said, I'm a mother, to get off the Titanic. Like
Yeah.
she pulled some dirty, I guess that's maybe a little dramatic, but you know what I mean. I just think that
Yeah.
she, and I feel bad for Katie, because I do feel like she got completely abandoned. I think her and Matt were like the third little couple in this alliance, and operated from the comfort zone of feeling that way. I'm real curious to see the two of them at the reunion. I don't think it's fair that we've cut Katie out the way that we have now.
Mhm.
I that was kind of the weird part about her coming back in. But you know what else I feel really bad? Like I was like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how fast you can forget somebody.
Mhm.
Hate to break it to
Because
you,
it's so much
Katie.
stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, and
Distraction.
unfortunately, Gretchen and Slade have carried the torch just fine on their own. The one thing that I want to reiterate, and this is kind of, I stumbled over this in the earlier part, I really don't respect the level of trash they've brought rumor-wise to the show. Like, the two things, you're now kind of Gretchen and Slade, and I blame Slade for this, but Gretchen's also the one that said that Tamra banged so and so, right? Banged 98 degrees.
Unprovoked.
You've come in and you've said that Tamra roofied you and you had to go to the hospital, or some version of that you were, harmed enough that you went to the hospital out of that night. And you have now said that during a recording of music that Tamra slept with someone, Slade took it to hell and said that they're actually recorded doing it. And that's some sleaze stuff, insinuations you're making that you walked back on now with both times. So I don't appreciate the level of fire you're fighting with here. And that's my biggest argument, is that, like, what you're bringing is pretty trashy. And yet you're claiming to be these, like, upstanding Christians. However, I don't think that Gretchen's necessarily any dirtier than a lot of these women, including Tamra. So, it just becomes a weird thing. What I do find very entertaining is we are watching old beef with two reality folks, right? Like, that's a unique situation. And now we're watching them shucking and jiving on the show, right? That is a unique situation that not all franchises have. Because you can see that Slade and Gretchen and Tamra and Eddie hate each other for a long time, shit talking one another, right? Like, it's been a long time of them saying grease in through, the social medias for a while. And now we're watching both of them interact, and, like, it's an interesting thing, because they also have the influence of being reality stars.
You know what? I have an interesting theory. What would have been better for Gretchen and Slade to come in on was, yes, bring up the whole naked wasted, but add the caveat of how trifling Tamra was by pressing her son on me to try and get me to do something that would incriminate myself and have Jeff leave me. Because she did coerce her son into messing with Gretchen, to try and get Gretchen, in trouble with Jeff. So I would have been more appreciative if Gretchen and Slade would have played that storyline versus messing up the whole issue of Naked Wasted and what happened after that. They should have just, in my opinion, I think that would have made a better comeback to make Tamra look like they want Tamra to look, but it backfired.
It did. It did. I feel like honestly, it now looks like four pigs in the mud, and maybe Eddie's on the fence because Eddie doesn't really do much. um, but yeah, I mean, listen, I gotta be true to the game. If I were Tamra and those things were being said about me on camera and they were like absurdly not true, I'd be pissed. So I could understand why, you know. Um, it's interesting. I agree with you though. They misplayed their hand because the way that everybody was kind of looking at it was like, "Oh, Tamara, you ain't got no way to justify naked wasted." And Gretchen's going to come back in and it was like, and somehow yet you managed to make it to where we all can't stand on that with you.
Right.
Like,
They could
wow.
have attacked her. They could have attacked her parenting, and that would have, again, it's all about what happened and what blowback they don't want to happen. They didn't think this through, meaning Gretchen and Slade. They're so laser focused on payback. Again, if since they Christians, they should think about that scripture. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. This is why vengeance is his. Because you don't know how to play it well.
That's so funny.
Perhaps y'all should have contacted me. Because again, if y'all would have played the fact of Tamra, first of all, Tamra and Vicky wanting to get you naked wasted with the whispering, and the fact that Tamra put her son on you, play those two. Don't do anything else because that's exactly what Tamra did. Just focus on what Tamra did and don't focus on what happened after. But y'all missed an opportunity because that would have been the utmost. Again, it could have played on Tamara's insecurities about her parenting that she's so troubled about. It could have played on her insecurities to that host of drinking, all of that. It just would have made her look more of a horrible person if y'all would have just played victim in that respect. But you didn't. Again, y'all in Kenya just messing up the thing. Y'all just messing up.
Yeah, and stop trying to blame other people, Gretchen. Like Emily and Heather, they egged you into calling Slade. Like, get off that leg because it is not one to stand on. Get off it. No.
You're too old.
Yeah, like stop. And like I said, you either must be so drunk you don't remember or you are stupid because like you brought it up. There's no even little tiny bit of argument. There's not.
And I'm still trying to figure out how drunk can you be where you can be lucid for one thing but can't remember. I ain't never forgot. I just don't understand. And it ain't like you're sloppy drunk. So I don't get it. I don't remember. You remember.
I don't know.
I just can't believe it.
I think she was super drunk. I think she was super drunk at Emily's thing, which is why she was yelling after Tamara the way that she was. So I do think a little bit of some rowdy, I do think those moments happen, but it doesn't, yeah, whatever. She doesn't have any excuse. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to give her one. I'm just saying, like, otherwise, you have no leg to stand on. You must not remember properly, because how could you even try to argue that they have to take responsibility for any of this? You're on a reality show with gossiping women, and you say that there's a recording of Tamara sounding like a hurt coyote, and they want to hear it, and then the rest is all you, babe.
Girl. Y'all messing up. That's all I gotta say. Y'all should have called me. Next season, call me. I'll help you. Because you my girl. You still my girl, but hey, you my girl. Oh Lord. I think that was it, huh, with them.
Yeah.
Talking about for legal reasons. Katie, shut up. Just come back to the show. You should have never left. And I hope that, things work out for you, and I hope we see you next episode. Because
good luck at the reunion, because it's make or break. If you all perform well at the reunion, if you and Matt do a little dance that we like, and you like do some kapow, like you can come back, like they'll bring you back. You know what I mean? Like, good luck at the reunion. Get your ducks in a row. You know, tighten up your arguments. Don't stop. You know, whatever. Like, and that's kind of. But I will say I feel really bad. But like the reality is production cutting her, dropping her the way that they did, and the way other things progressed. I easily forgot you. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean you don't deserve to have another shot. I'm just saying, like, I just realized I'm not bonded enough to care to that one. So
yeah,
but if you kapow some people at the reunion and earn my respect, then come on back, baby. Otherwise, you're just kind of a tragic fallout of all this. And then we'll see how hard Tamra hangs on to them too, because she feels like she needs some allies. I want to see Jen's explanation for her part in that too. But you know, if she does not back next season, I would say it's a bit of a miscarriage of justice. But my care is very low. Sorry.
yeah. She should have never been cut out. I agree.
Yeah.
It's just there wasn't. She didn't do enough to be cut out. She didn't hit nobody. She didn't slash nobody's tire. She didn't sleep with nobody's husband. She didn't threaten nobody. It was just the fact that they don't like her. That's stupid.
Yep.
It's just dumb. I mean, come on now. All the stuff Tamra done did, and she ain't been cut out.
Seriously. Yeah, 100.
Girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a poor choice production.
Oh, Heather. Another quick, but not as quick as last week's episode with Heather and Shannon, whoever it was sitting down. Heather and Gretchen sitting down saying hello and leaving. Heather is at Junior's Cookies for the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project, a fundraiser to, help me out, because I kind of got lost. Is it for the teens, for the teens that are troubled, or is it a teen that unalived themselves? That's where I was confused.
It's queer youth that are at risk.
Okay.
So it's big support for queer youth. As we all know, Trevor is I forgot his name. I'm sorry, Trevor. He was a young man that was the victim of a hate crime. He was tied to a fence and left. So now I'm going to bring down the mood for everybody. He was tied to a fence after being beaten and left to die for being gay. So and I think that he was at risk because he had been kicked out of the home or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm wrong on that one, but anyway, the Trevor Project is a resource for queer teens that are queer and trans teens that are at risk because there's a lack of acceptance or support in their home.
Okay. And that's a great project. And we hope that you guys seek them out and support, just like with the Innocence Project. We're going to discuss that more in detail in a minute. But, when you
wonderful causes.
I'm sorry?
I said wonderful causes. I applaud Heather and Terry Dubrow for what a shining example of great parenting they are for their queer and trans kids.
Exactly. Now, the circumstances behind Trevor's unalivement, I recall that situation, but I thought it was somebody named Matt. Something, or did it happen with someone else? Now, I could be wrong, but I do recall that situation happening. And I'm thinking that it was in the Midwest somewhere.
It was, and maybe I have this all wrong, and I'm just looking like ignorant. Like,
no, it's fine. But let's just say this: if it happened more than once, we can understand because of the hate that's going around. But I vaguely remember it, and I thought such horror as to who. Well, I'll say this: the same savagery that that plagues this country and is ingrained in this country could only think of something so heinous to do to somebody, like, to do that to another human soul, or to do to another human being, is the same type of mindset. And just oh my goodness, I just I couldn't think to do something like that. But yes, bless the families and everybody. And again, you are a parent until the day you die. Just because you don't like the choice or the way your child lives. Again, if your child ain't unaliving people, stealing from people, hurting animals and old people and children, love your child regardless. And keep having ongoing discussions with your child to help y'all's relationship, but never put your child out just because they're queer. That's so stupid. It's dumb. Yep. How dare you? And shame on you as a parent for not having unconditional love for the child that you brought into this world. You did. How shame on you. Ugh. But anyway, yes, the Trevor Project, please donate, look them up. I don't have their info, but yeah. Big up to Terry and Heather Dubrow. And now, again, I know 3 of her children are confirmed queer, but she said she has 4 unique children. Did she just say that so that she doesn't leave the 4th one out? Or
yeah, is it Terry Jr.? I don't know. I forget what her son's name is. Look at me. I'm the name. Listen, I do my best, but perimenopause makes the memory real shady. Okay. One of their oldest son, I think he's one of the twins. He is cisgendered, heterosexual in real estate. So he's like the one, he's the one kind of Beverly Hills kid.
He's just the regular.
Yeah, he's the regular. Yep. He's the vanilla cookie. He's the vanilla cookie of the cookie.
So she just included him because
of course,
he's special.
Yeah.
And,
I think he's actually making well, I think he's already made a bit of a splash in the LA real estate scene.
Wonderful. So, okay. And of course, all our children are special. So
yes, we're just joking. He's the vanilla cookie.
I just had to make sure, because girl, you never know that somebody may pop up and say something later. So I don't know. Okay. Well, so
yep.
So now we're again back to the Innocence Center. Now Emily is hosting some exonerees. There are about 3 or 4 of them that came to her house, along with a representative from the actual organization that Emily works with. And they showcase a little bit of their they discussed a little bit about their issues as to why, as to what transpired. And like I mentioned before, he was over here while the crime was going on way over there, and they still connected him to it. Like, hello,
Oh yeah.
And his energy. I just want to say this. Yeah. It's such a travesty when the laws of the land create this narrative that's plausible, but it was not. It was terribly incorrect. And they conform any amount of data and say it's rain when it's actually not rain, and make it. And so those who are prone to believe them because of that's what they're here to do, is to be believable, then they're believed when they're actually lying about all of this, or I'll just say terribly mistaken about the data that they are presenting against this innocent person. And he had to, just suffer and just not live his life the way he was supposed, like with everybody else that was at that table. And it's really sad that any amount of data can be misconstrued against somebody only because of who's presenting it. It's just such a miscarriage of justice. What were we gonna say, ma'am?
I just his his energy is one that's kind of like heartbreaking too. Like, because when he comes on the screen, you're like, this is a nice man. Like, this is a gentle person. Like, but listening to him and the other Justice Project folks talk about once you're in the system, like, how he didn't learn, like, he didn't bother to learn new skills because he didn't think he was ever going to get out.
Yeah.
Like, we also have a problem of, let the punishment fit the crime and overdoing time for people and not rehabilitating. I mean, like, part of the whole idea of jail is to, like, take people that are, like, not contributing to society and maybe give them some skills so that when they pay their debt, they can get out and contribute, like, yeah, okay, you made a really stupid mistake, and let's say you robbed someone or did some crap, but, like, if you had the tools and some kind of way out, maybe these people, a lot of these people would do differently, so this is such a bigger social issue, and shout out to Emily and the Innocence Project for taking this time to give us a human face to to a deeply, deeply troubling project or issue in our justice system. And shout out to everyone that was brave enough to come on TV and talk about their experience.
For sure. I would have liked to hear what the young lady, one of the female exonerees, had to say, just because she's a woman, and I wanted to hear her story.
Yeah.
But for whatever the reason, we didn't catch it. She didn't speak on camera, at least. It's just so horrible, and it's not. It's just so horrible.
Yeah. Note to production: you dropped the ball there. And if she wasn't, well spoken enough or like, my note to editing is that was a fail there. You should have had that. We needed a female perspective.
Or let's say this, to be fair across the board, if she couldn't, if for whatever reason she wasn't comfortable enough to do so, bless her heart, because we can only imagine the after effects these people suffer from. It's PTSD on a grand scale. We're talking about prison. We're not talking about they were just held overnight. We're talking about years and years of unspeakable horrors being torn away from your life unjustly. I can imagine the trauma that these people are suffering from. Girl,
I know.
Sometimes we go through car accidents and we have PTSD afterwards. So I can only imagine how their mind is trying to adapt, or they're just trying to come to grips with reality now, and being free and all of those emotions. So even if she couldn't, we can understand why, but I would have really liked to hear her story,
Yeah, and I just to support what you're saying, I think a lot of these folks that they are having on camera are like spokespeople for the cause. So I don't know. It very well could have been. It just, I like I said, editing. It's a little note. I'm sure maybe there's some reason why or whatever. But like, I like that you're calling out. We noticed a lady went in. Why didn't we get to hear her talk?
Now, it's one thing that rubbed me the wrong way with Emily at this scene.
I think I know what it is. But anyway, go ahead. I want to hear. Go ahead.
When she said she has some issues at home and she couldn't imagine knowing, or just pretty much putting her situations against their situations and thanking God that she has her issues versus theirs. It didn't come out. It didn't translate well in how she said it. Like, she's putting them down or just making and I'm even kind of flustered saying it because it just it ain't. Is that what you were thinking too? That whole thing that she said about because her issues aren't as grave as theirs, she's lucky that it's not as her issues aren't as grave as theirs. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes, except like one step up higher.
Yeah.
I feel like she was clumsy with them because I kind of looked at her like with the way they cut her being like, I'm having problems at home with my son and I meet with you guys and like I'm like, why are you bringing yourself into it? Like, like it just kind of like here's a moment to where I felt like she was trying to relate. I felt like, but it was like you've been a reality star for too long because the narcissism, like you
Yes.
don't need to bring it. That's what I'm trying to convey too. It's not an easy thing to quite put your finger on, but both you and I are looking at the way that she tried to relate with these folks, and it was just kind of off. How about that, right? Like it just like it, and what she was trying to convey about them. I get she was trying to say like I have a lot of privilege. I acknowledge my privilege, my white privilege, my wealthy privilege, my celebrity privilege, all my privilege, because in the scheme of things, I have a child with some special needs, but I could have been unjustly imprisoned, and that's insane. It just was it was a klutzy delivery in general.
And to be honest, it was a microaggression.
Yeah.
Because it didn't come out again. You should have never thought she should have never thought it because it came out wrong. No matter how she could have said that, it still would have translated to I'm glad my issues aren't like yours. That's pretty much what she said. And it's just insulting, offensive. And I hope that that's called out at the reunion and that she accepts how wrong she was by saying it, thinking it, and making it known on a public platform. She's trying to help these people and she insults them at the same time. And again, like you said, it's the arrogance that promotes this type of mindset. Again, you're not thinking clear enough to that. She wasn't thinking clear enough so that she won't insult these people who are still trying to deal with the trauma of being unjustly incarcerated. That's the focus. And if you're still in the side of your mind thinking about your kids, then you need to refocus, Emily. Just if this is the time to focus on something other than yourself, then you failed. Because I'm like, what did she just say? I had to rewind and say, oh my God, no, and then they filmed it. Like, okay, no. And if production thought it was a good idea, you're in the same effed up mindset as Emily was at that moment. Because it never should have came out for us to make comments on. It should have never done. Trifling.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't like I said, the high level of it came off a little narcissistic, a little self-involved,
Mm. No, they cut their reunion already, huh? They did?
No, they have not.
Let me see if I can get that question in to Andy real quick. I want her to make sure she addresses it. Let me put my pencil. Put this on my note. I'm looking for a pencil now while we talk. Can you tell I'm looking? Okay, so here we go. Slade and Gretchen, child.
Oh, yeah.
At the party. Actually, it was a fundraiser. But just a party.
Party fundraiser.
Yeah. And they were raising monies specifically for one exoneree to further his education. I forget his name. Did I get his name? whatever his name was, bless his heart. He
I
needed,
know. I forgot his name too. I'm sorry. You're such a lovely guy, though.
yeah. I love their spirit at this point. They're not. It seems as though they're not walking around with a chip on their shoulder, rightfully so, if they were.
Yeah.
But they're grateful that the light is shining on not them but the whole experience of regaining their freedom, regaining their livelihood, making a way for them and their family. Most of them do have families that they're trying to take care of, and just bettering themselves for a lot of time and resource and opportunity lost due to their unjustly incarceration. So they're trying to raise money for this, for the exoneree to gain some skills, some vocational skills, and furthering his education. I forget what field it was in. Do you recall the field? Was it mechanics or something?
Diesel
I don't.
mechanic.
It was mechanic. Okay.
Yeah, diesel mechanic, he said.
Great. Oh, that's a great field. All right. That's what I'm saying. And by the way, bring that back to the schools, y'all. We need some vocational skills going on for these kids to come out and know some things to do. Just FYI, if anybody in education listening, watching and listen, just go ahead and make it happen.
Yeah, seriously. And like also please some like tax return, accounting, life skills would be great.
Hello.
My child could teach me.
And so, of course, we're going to have mess going on. They're all getting ready for the party. It's a Western theme. We still in the gaze of Cowboy Carter, so to speak to so. And so, so they're all getting ready, and we're just catching on some conversations and whatnot. Slade and Gretchen, of course, are strategizing on how to deal with Tamra and Eddie at the party.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Gretchen tells Slade that Tamra met with what's his name? Katie, and there are just some things that they're just trying to ungrease, but they just can't help but just slide on in. They just slide on into the party, child. Everybody's there. Everybody's coming in. And now this part was interesting. Emily met with Tamra to further explain her uneasy feeling. Now, this is a little shot that they put in from before. This is not at the party, but to end or to further explain what she couldn't at Tamra's spring fling bling party. Emily really wanted to get her point across to make it plain and simple to Tamra, and I'm glad that she did. Like, listen, I don't want to feel like I can't trust you with intel that's sensitive, and you're going to use it later. And Tamra pretty much accepted it. She's like, okay, I understand that, I get it, but I would have wished that they would have shown Tamra's response, other than okay, I get it.
They cut out. This was kind of some interesting editing choices this episode, period, I noticed, because they showed us a flashback of Emily getting over the fight with Gretchen, even though she stormed off really heated, which was not accurate storytelling. I thought it was weird. You know what I mean? And then they're now showing a flashback of Emily and Tamra squashing their beef, but like they're giving us this abridged version.
Yeah, that should have went on and on to hear what Tamra had to say.
I agree.
For herself.
Yes.
Because that's a part of Tamra's therapy story and journey, is to be held accountable and to move on from that, learn from that, and do things differently moving forward. Do I have it right? Is that correct?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Again, it's for that's good TV, but they cut it off at the good part. Okay, let's hear the rest. Dang. Got my voice all high and carrying on because oh Lord. It's production. Who is making these decisions? What else happened, child? At the party, Tamra tells Jen about her meeting with Katie, but she don't feel comfortable telling Katie because Katie gonna run tell that to her homegirl Gretchen, and she don't want them kind of problems. Like, well, you told her enough because she ran into
Yeah.
and told that part, and then added to it what she thought. See, again, verbatim is key, ladies. Verbatim is key. All Jen had to say was what Tamra said, but no, they always want to add in what they think and their perception, and she probably could have just say what the heifer said. So then that made Gretchen Slade want to say, well, if she can talk to so and so about Slade, she should talk to Slade. So they found it prudent to think that going and approaching Tamra would be a good idea. And then as soon as Tamra saw them in her personal space trying to speak with her, she ran off to Eddie, and that's when Gretchen and Slade, Gretchen more so telling her to run, bitch, run, and just antagonizing her. And
yeah, that wasn't a good look.
It wasn't a good look,
No.
It just wasn't a good look. Again, y'all are fumbling the bag worse than Kenya. Almost, y'all still on the show. It's all about get back. It's all about get back, and it is what it is.
Stop making the argument that they're talking about Slade, so Slade should get involved. This is a woman's show, and there's a unique set of rules of stay out of women's business. And when the husbands get involved, it's never a good idea. These are the ways of housewives' operations. Y'all are on a show, in theory, to have conflict and resolution and life experiences together. Right. And yes, I can understand most reasonable people would want to get their husbands involved, this is that, or whatever, but this is housewives. And the dragging Slade into this, is not something you're entitled to do necessarily. And not anybody necessarily really wants to watch a husband and wife gang up on one person. If John Jansen and Alexis had been coming at Shannon, nobody would have liked that. So I think Slade, this argument that they're talking about Slade, Slade's looking a little bit like your puppet master right now, and it's not a cute look. And like I said, I think Gretchen was too drunk again to have that conversation. They were all partying, and she just has a certain voice that you can tell that she's sauced. Mm-hmm. And obviously she acts a certain way because I don't think sober Gretchen would have yelled, "Run, bitch, run!" I was like, wow, you sound like an asshole right now. So, yeah, fumbling the bag. Poorly done, folks.
Ciao. Then, of course, Emily runs off to support Tamra because she didn't appreciate how Gretchen and Slade came at her, and emphasizing how Slade should have never got himself in that conversation. No, Emily, it's okay because it's a three-way at this point. It really is. He's so much in it only because of Tamra. Hello. If Tamra would have never kept his name in her mouth, then he would have not felt it prudent to accompany his wife. But at the same time, Emily, stay out of it. Just because you're supporting Tamra in this moment, it's fine. But I just think Emily kind of has it slightly screwed, just a slight, tinge. But I'm glad that, actually, I'm surprised that production didn't show Eddie flipping them off, but they did in the preview. I wonder why they cut it out of the show. Do you know or heard anything about that?
No.
Or is it on Peacock? Because I keep forgetting to watch Peacock.
No, I didn't see.
See, I wonder why they did that. That's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, Emily ran out to support Tamra. And then of course Emily comes back, and then that's when we see them them going back and forth, and before they cut off the scene, I think that's when they showed the clip of them making up. But the fact that Emily and Gretchen started to yell at each other because Gretchen doesn't feel supported, or she doesn't see that bringing Slade with her was inappropriate. The fact that, again, his name keeps being in her mouth was enough for him to accompany her. She's upset about it. I just think Gretchen's moving, halfway wrong in all of this. I really wish that they would move differently. They would have looked better in the eyes of, in my opinion. Because, like I said, Gretchen's my girl. I've been waiting for her to come back, even though that Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip issue, she was on that. If you don't know, the one that we may never see due to Carolyn Manzo's attorneys stopping all things because of the issues with her and Brandy Glanville. I've been waiting for Gretchen to come back on the Bravo channel, and now that she's here, she's messing up the thing. I just, I know. I just would have came in a different hot. Come in hot, but just a different hot is all I'm
I blame Slade. I do. I blame Slade. I blame Slade for putting the wrong kind of slime on this sauce when it should have been sauce. Yeah. Just FYI, I don't know if you heard this. It looks like they are rebranding Girls Trip. They're giving it another name because I guess that while they're in litigation, like the show shouldn't operate. I think there's some weird thing, but there's a rumored cast of ladies for it's like Real Housewives in Paradise or something like that is what they're going to rename the show. So yeah, it sounds like it is indeed coming back, but that which I'm really excited about, because that was the one thing that I was super pissed about, which was like, you tanked a new show that I really enjoyed. Like, I really liked how you brought back old housewives and we got to hear how they're doing, and y'all talked about the reality of being a reality star or being on the show and what that was like for you and where you're at now. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was a breath of fresh air. So FYI. And I am bummed that Morocco will not be seen, because I've heard from multiple people, obviously that's what they'd say, but they're like, the worst part about what happened is that it was a really fun trip. We were having a great time. It was, other than Caroline and the Brandy thing, which I'm sorry, but from everyone's account, Caroline was not having a problem with what was happening. Wow. Caroline has a problem with her own loss of inhibitions with too much to drink. But whatever. I'm not gonna victim shame someone who feels like they were mistreated, but I just don't think it was a lawsuit situation, and I'm pissed that you tanked a franchise. You signed up for this stuff, and there's a certain amount of personal accountability you need to take, and you can be absolutely horrified by what happened to you, but to sue I don't agree with. I'm sorry. Nope.
Me either.
Period.
Dang. Yeah, it's really disappointing. I just want to see Gretchen.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I'm curious as what she said about Tamra on that trip.
She was talking mess there too, huh? See?
I'm sure she was. I'm sure her and Vicky were, because I don't know how good they were at the time. Well, I guess I don't know if this was before the Trace Amigas fell apart, I think.
Wait. Who? So Vicky, she was on a trip too?
Vicky went to Morocco. Vicky and Gretchen were together on Morocco, so they talk about the past. They probably even talk about they might even talk about Naked Wasted, because Vicky was there.
Ooh, I know Vicky is pissed. Her one chance.
She was trying to. Yeah. Well, listen. Yeah, Alex McCord. Yeah, I needed to see what happened to that crazy lady. Yep.
Because, child, that scene when they had that 80s party and Gretchen cuts Vicky smooth TF out. That's when I fell in love with Gretchen, to be honest. Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about.
See, and
Snap,
you
snap,
would have
snap.
had that reunion. You would have had that reunion.
And they would have played that clip over and over. You know they was.
Probably, yeah, So yeah, thanks a lot, Caroline
Mm,
Manzo. Go get a therapist for crying out loud. Look, I don't want to diss trauma of that level. I'm sorry that you
correct.
went through
Correct.
that. But please go be in charge of your own healing instead of ruining pop culture television for all of us because you're mortified that you made out with a woman who will make out with just about anybody.
Girl, I understand, but girl, what?
Yeah.
Well, anywho, I think that was all the episode. And I don't have nothing else on my notes, child. You got something else?
Nope, I'm good.
Well, y'all, that was it. We hope you enjoyed the review. We're gonna come back next week because we got about 3 more episodes, child. You know they're gonna have 3 parts because 1.5 is gonna be about Katie. Just saying. Katie / Gretchen. And that's just gonna take up most of it, child. It's just, but yeah, let me get in and see if I can email Andy real quick or Bravo or somebody about them holding Emily accountable for that messed up comment sheet. Yeah, Emily, girl, take care, Emily. Anyway, before we go, let's find out where we can find Erin when she ain't talking ish with me.
You can catch me on Instagram and Threads, psychic_ELB, as you see on display. You can also find me on Facebook, Psychic Erin Boyd. Hit me up in the DMs if you would like a psychic reading, or just please follow and let's be friends. Follow. I co-community. I do try and post when we're going live, and please follow Ray all day on YouTube, and so you can get our schedule. We're trying to keep it pretty regular, but life be happening sometimes. So,
but you will catch us every week. Make sure
yeah.
that subscribe button is on, so the bell is black as I'm looking at it now, and make sure you figure out what's all of what we're talking about. And mind you, Southern Charm is coming back November 19th.
Oh,
Yes.
that trailer looked good.
Didn't it,
The
girl?
shenanigans.
The PH shenanigans.
Ooh, Sally's a liar. She didn't say she wanted Craig. She's trying to deny it, but she's a liar.
She saw that house. She said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I can do some
Right?
things over
I
here."
can't say I blame her. I don't know. He seems like a lot to put up with, but that house.
Why is it mandatory that they all must mess with each other? Why, Lord?
Well, you get a bunch of good-looking people in a room that are, attracted, you know what I mean? Gay, straight, bi, whatever. You get a bunch of people in a room with the possibility of attraction, and that's where it goes awry.
And you hit the nail on the head. Everybody on this show looks good, ain't that nothing?
Yeah.
Even Patricia.
Only
is
person
a
that don't
looker.
look good is Whitney. Whitney looks like a dried out
Well,
husk.
you have a hate relationship with Whitney.
I'm like that's second in command to Thomas Ravenel on the lechery. I'm sorry, Whitney. You ooh.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Well, y'all catch this. We're gonna go now. But we're just reminding you that we do review Southern Charm. So look for that. In about a month, we should be coming up with a schedule at the around Thanksgiving, actually, since they'll be debuting the week before or 2 weeks before the holiday. So yes, around November 19th, look out for those publications. And we're still waiting on Southern Sunset on Netflix that we also review that. So just, so we got about 4 shows that we're reviewing together. And then I'm also reviewing Bell Collective, LAMH when that comes back, and some other Bravo shows that are coming back, like Married to Medicine, of course, The Real Housewives, Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Atlanta, I didn't do Miami this go round, but I did review it last year. So if you go back into my repertoire of videos, you'll see all of what I have in the vault. Again, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Don't forget to come back, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all. All day, all day. All day.